Well, g'day team, and welcome back to another episode of Veterans. We're up to episode 8 this week, and what we wanted to do is actually cover a few of the comments that have come through on both the Facebook and also on the YouTube channel. Now you'll notice I'm unshaven today. This is a little bit more of a relaxed episode today, where we have a bit of a chat, have a bit of a giggle at some of the comments, and have a talk about them and discuss them. So let's start off. Well, one of the first comments that we actually received that took my note was from a fella, and he basically was commenting on understanding veterans. And he was saying here about basically taking a breath so that they're all idiots everywhere, and that they're arse-hats, and just yelling at them and telling them to pull their heads in was a waste of breath anyway. And that's a pretty fair comment. Veterans, as we spoke about in understanding veterans, have a very low tolerance of people that are idiots, if you want to put it that way. So look, really interesting. Thank you for commenting, that person. And look, I'm not going to use names, okay? There's no need to use names. I think it's more about that the comment has been made. If you want to get online and have a look, you can see who it is. All right, so the next one, episode 3, the PTSD episode. We had a gent who had been a 26-year veteran, 4 years military, 22 years as a paramedic and things like that. And he talked about it being not only a physical condition, but a mental, PTSD being a physical condition and as well as a mental issue. And that is so true, because we spoke about, how it presents itself with anxiety, depression, and things like that. And literally, he says, is because it is actually a physical, that is because the brain is physically injured. And I've been told that before. I think I may have even said it in the episode. It's been explained to me that PTSD is a brain injury. So again, a really, well thought out comment, and from someone with experience. So episode 3 also in the PTSD one, and this is from a gent who was actually talking about a local sub-branch, and that they meet up on a Thursday and sit around and have a coffee and have a chat about veterans issues, like a coffee club and things like that. And look, an outstanding initiative, a really worth its while in getting together, having a chat, I suppose exploring different ideas, different viewpoints, and seeing that you're not the only one that feels a certain way, which is always really, really positive. Episode 4, what a doozy that was, our DVA episode. I've got a couple here. One of them was some interesting thoughts on provision of medical treatment after service, worth a longer discussion. That was my comment about that every veteran, everyone that served this country should get a gold card as soon as they discharge. I stand by that. Look, another one here, and I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but it was from a Timor veteran, and thank you so much for actually going and putting the time into this comment, because he talks about how DVA were behind and may still be 2 years behind in permanent impairment payments, things like that. Look, it's a really in-depth and good comment. He talks about here, help get the families whilst the veterans are getting help and come to terms with their deployment problems, then the suicide rate would be a great deal less. And we've discussed this during that, and I actually have a fairly big commentary in regards to veteran suicide. We know that there's a Royal Commission into the Department of Veteran Affairs. Look, I stated in the video, and I stated again, look, our repat system isn't that bad in comparison to others, but it is not perfect, and it does, yes, look, there was a number of posts on that video about, veteran suicides and all the rest of it. Yes, we understand that. And it's about talking and about communicating. And it's how we get these bureaucrats literally to understand what we're dealing with as veterans. Look, never had an issue with dealing with DVA, and I think the issue is people's expectations of what DVA are capable of, and timelines can blow out if you don't prepare your paperwork properly. That was another comment, and that's actually, again, a really valid comment. If your paperwork's not done right, the people in the offices can't do their job right, and there's a lot of toing and froing. This is, again, why I'm always a huge advocate of, I mentioned defence care, paid advocates. This idea of what do you call it, volunteer advocates is gone. It's archaic. Put it in the ark with the animals and let it take its course. Honestly, we need paid advocates that do the job, get it done properly the first time so the veteran isn't basically boned around. So that was episode 4 on DVA. Then we went to episode 5, ESOs. Oh dear. And this was, again, one of those ones that caused a little bit of an interesting response. I've got one here. Came across this from a link post about veterans. Basically, this veteran was a Navy veteran, and I'm extremely thankful for the RSL helping me with some entitlements I was owed. But as far as joining ESO, I've been put off by exactly what you've discussed. Look, that's a common thread right across the board with the veteran community, not wanting to engage with them. Look, there was another comment which basically said, we nailed it on the head, and their RSL actually has next to no younger veterans, and what they're trying to do, they've changed meeting times. So they're actually being proactive and positive, changing things around to try and get that younger veteran. I think that's a really, really good thing. Let me see here, episode 5. Another one here, look, here we go. I believe you are right. The old boys club needs to change. The RSLs aren't what they used to be. Heck, my sub-branch leases out the downstairs to a club that doesn't give a hoot about veterans. Another note, ESO should be forthcoming with expenditure versus income, because I know that some have really high expenses on management. We mentioned this, you know, how much money these ESO ex-service organisations have that doesn't get to the veterans. A really good point. Okay. Whoa, it's a bit warm in here. As you can tell, I'm sweating a bit, team. Righto. Here we go. Now, this one here, I wanted to bring to the attention because we're going to cover it in our next episode. It was a comment on the Australian Defence Medal, and it was actually not being a stick in the mud, but don't some civvies without any military service have the Coke bottle gong, the Australian Defence Medal? Look, a gent replied to that. The national medal was given to both military and civilian, including public servants. I've actually replied to that, and I'll let you know my reply, which was, G'day team, excellent question. I believe there is a civilian version of the Operational Service Medal, which I know there is, and yes, the National Medal is also awarded to some civilians, as Jeff pointed out. So, team, they're just a few of the comments we've had during our time with our series on veterans. Oh, wow, I'm doing the sweat thing. So, thank you so much for everyone that's tuned in, that's commented, that's liked, that's shared, whatever the case may be. Remember, we're on 2CC with Steve Centipento on the morning, Friday mornings at 7:05. And have a chat about the upcoming episode. Last thing I wanted to go out on, the last episode we had, I had basically a question for the Prime Minister. Funnily enough, you know, Stalkbook, or Facebook, I should say, wouldn't let that be run, that post. It wasn't allowed to be boosted, and I still haven't heard from the Prime Minister, except the crap they sent last time. So let's see how we go. Mr. Prime Minister, whilst you're gullivanting around trying to save the world about emissions, how about you answer my question about veterans? Anyway, team, hope you've enjoyed this episode. Been hot, sweaty, and we've gone through some comments that you've put. Please make sure you share these videos. Hey, look, keep commenting. Share your thoughts with us. This is Harry or Scott signing off from the Shed 2.0. Make sure you join us next week when we talk about the ADM. See you later, team.